YouTube? What's good? We're back in this thing. Today we're going to be going over this crumple paper posterized time kind of like laggy effect. It's done in the flex up music video, and I know a lot of people liked my last flex up music video tutorial, so I figured I might as well go ahead and do another effect that's done in the music video. It's kind of like two effects in one almost, because I kind of just combined two to kind of like make my own almost. So it's a little bit different than what they have, but you'll be able to learn two different effects that are used in this music video. This one's definitely a banger, and it's super simple to do. We're going to be using my texture pack that's available on my website, and the 4K ultimate version is 25% off until the first of the year. So if you're watching in this either today or tomorrow, you can still get the 4K ultimate for the price of the HD version. After that, it's not going to go on sale until probably around this time next year. If you're a little hesitant, there's plenty of tutorials on my channel showing what you can do with the pack, basically endless amount of effects that you can do with it. So go check those out if you're interested. If you're new here, what we're doing is a thing called tutorial miss. We're on the 30th day of 31 videos in December. So if this is your first video you're seeing from me, you got a lot to catch up on. I have a lot of really cool creative effects that are really unique, and I don't see anyone else doing tutorials on. So definitely go check those out. I'll have the playlist linked below. It's called Tutorial Miss. Be sure to like and comment. Follow my Twitch for streams where we react to your guys' music videos and just kind of do editing. Yeah, let's get into this video. All right, so the effect we're recreating is right here. It's like this like crumple paper kind of like laggy effect. And then if you haven't seen this video, we did this effect, but that was before my texture pack even came out. So it was using some really low quality assets. If you wanted to do this, you can go watch that video and then apply those same effects, but with my texture pack, the new one. There's a sample pack if you don't feel like buying the full thing. But if you do, there's definitely a lot of textures that will help you get a really similar effect here. But we're gonna be doing that paper crumple effect that I mentioned before. The first thing you need is a clip that you want to posterize. So this is already sped up a little bit. I tried to find a clip that wasn't like too affected in the music video so you could see what it would look like from start to finish. So that's what we're going to be doing. To get the frame by frame, you can add posterized time. And posterized time does is it basically makes it so if this is a 24 frames per second clip, whatever number you put in here is going to divide your 24 frames per second by that. So if you put in 8 here, every 4 frames is going to be a new frame. So if you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that we have that, if you want to do like a little speed glitch back and forth, you can go, I think this really makes the effect a lot cooler. So it's not just 4 frames each one. You can go to speed here. You like right click on the FX thing. And if you can't see that, just drag this up the track layer up higher so you can see it. Right click, go to time remapping, and then click speed. And then it's going to bring up this bar here. And then if you push P on your keyboard or go to the pen tool over here, you can just make points. And I'm just going to make a bunch of points. And then pushing V or using the selection tool, you can just change the speed of each of them. You can drag some up, drag some down. You can drag like a huge portion forward, and then just basically randomize the speed at which everything comes in. So if you render that, it's going to look a lot different. So now it's basically a random amount of frames that are frozen, and it just adds a little bit more jittery effect. They do this throughout the music videos. Figure might as well include it into this effect so you guys can learn 2 effects in one. So now next thing you're going to need is some paper textures. I'm using from my pack the paper texture, and I'm going to be using this crumple one just because I like the way it looks. And I mean, you can combine as many as you want too. Like if you've seen their effect, they have like these lines here. So you could use something like this texture or this texture on top of the crumple, or you could just switch between. You could even do like this texture. I'll drag this one in and see what that looks like as well, just so we could see 2 different versions. So yeah, I'm gonna go back into the clip. So then you just wanna scale the paper texture in. If you want, you can, just to see it at first, you can go to right click on here and go to scale to frame size, and then you can see what the paper texture actually looks like. And then I'm just gonna rotate it 90 degrees. That way it's fitting the frame a little bit better, and then just scaling it in. And then you can scale it into whatever you want here. I think that looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead, and I think all these, depending on what color your background is, gonna be different. But for me, I think like linear color dodge or color dodge look good. And then I always like adding curves onto this. And the reason is because every video clip is gonna have like a different background. So you're not gonna be able to just, I mean, you can just drag it on, but it's not gonna look as good as if you like made it a little darker. You can see here, I'm just dragging the blacks in a little bit so it makes it a little bit more dark, and adding a little curve to it, and you can make the highlights pop. It's going to be different for everyone's clip, but I think that looks a lot more like it's printed on paper and crumpled up than this. I think you guys would agree too. And then I'm just going to go frame by frame until you see the first switch, and then just drag it to there. And then you can see it moves until it gets to that frame, and then just hold Alt on your keyboard and drag it. And now you just need to either rotate it, flip it, do whatever. I like going to the effects and type in flip, and by default you should have these. It's just horizontal flip and vertical flip. So yeah, I like using these to make the effect a little faster. You can just drag on horizontal flip and then even just like rotate it a little bit so it doesn't perfectly flip. And then sometimes you just need to scale it in if the edges are showing a little bit, but you can see that already kind of has a different paper crumple. Do the same thing. Make sure you're on a frame where it switches over. So for me, it's right there. And then you can go ahead and drag like a vertical flip on and even rotate it a little bit more. So it's like way different. You can scale in, scale out, whatever. I think just the more variation between each one, the better. And this is where the effect's real cool because it only has it for one frame here. So then you can maybe delete one of them, zoom out a little bit more, maybe rotate, basically just make it its own unique thing. And then if you scale in a lot, you can, as long as it's the long way, you can drag left to right pretty easily. And that's like a cool way to have some variance. And if you want to, you can play around with the motion tool itself. So if you just click on motion here, and if it's really scaled, then you're gonna have to zoom out, but you can do that and move it how you want without using the dials here, and then just finish it off. Probably fast forward through this because it's a little bit repetitive. And when you're doing this too, you can even bring in other textures too. So you could use another one of these textures here. I mean, you can do it with any of these, right? Like you can move the paper around, these paper rips here, scratches, all of these. So basically just make it your own. Like I said, you can combine these lines into kind of how they did. And then if you go ahead and render it out, so you can see what it looks like. I think that's a real cool effect. It's just super simple and adds a little bit different of so we rendered it out and it looks like this. I think that's a real cool way of just changing up a clip and adding like a little texture shot to the clip. So here's the normal clip. It's pretty cool. Adding those throughout your music video kind of add a cool element to it. Just some random stuff like that. And then if you want, you can even drag in some like paper rips and folds here. And if you drag in something like this into the project, I can show you how you can use these. So if you do that, I would just recommend probably using the same blending mode. You don't have to, but yeah, but you could drag those in, even maybe put them down here or something. Just adds a little bit something to the effect here. So like one frame, it just like has a little bit of rip. You don't have to, obviously. Just other thoughts, see what it would look like if you drag in this one. And you can see what it would look like with another overlay instead of the crumple. And you can do this with, like I said, all of the other different textures, and then you can just move it around and rotate it and stuff between each one. It would probably work just the same. And since a lot of these are like pretty similar, you can like switch between each texture between the shots. Like I could have done each shot a different texture, and that would have been a cool effect as well. But yeah, I just thought I would share that with you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about this tutorial. I think this one was a super simple one that just kind of added a little something extra to your video that I haven't really seen done besides in this music video actually, where they kind of just print it out and crumple it up, because that's what they did. Obviously we're doing the digital version. Yeah, like I said guys, my 4K Ultimate Texture Pack is on sale until the end of the year, 25% off, that pack and that pack only. So if you're thinking about grabbing it, I would do so before the end of the year, because after that it's gonna be full price until sometime around next year. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Follow me on Twitch, like and comment, subscribe if you're not already. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Peace.